Hello friends and welcome to the series Let's Learn a Microsoft 365 topic. Today we are going to learn how to create a SPFx app using Microsoft Graph Toolkit 2.0. SPFx is SharePoint development framework used to create web parts for SharePoint. The same app can be used for Teams also. In this I'm going to show how we can utilize Microsoft Graph Toolkit, specifically the 2.0 version as well, which can load the new components. I will talk a bit about prerequisites, then I'll give you a code overview and some demo how it works. The source code of this solution can also be found on my GitHub, which I'll be sharing in the description of the video. You can refer to it later. All the commands which I will explain will also be available in the description or in the GitHub source code, so you can have it from there also. Before I proceed further, I recommend to subscribe to my channel Sing Ventures and also connect with me in Twitter and LinkedIn and also follow my blog singventures.com. So let's get started. If you don't know what is Graph Toolkit, I recommend you can go and Google it. It's a reusable components which can be used out of box, which fetches data and authenticates using Microsoft Graph. Basically, as you know, Microsoft Graph gives data to us via API calls, and the Graph Toolkit has been built over it, which gives us a ready reusable components. It can really cut down the development time. Like if you want the person card or task to be available for a user, you can just do it with simple commands. And of course, it works in all browsers. Hence, once you build it, it can run anywhere. In this case, we are using SharePoint, so it will run as a web part inside a web part of SharePoint, and it will get its context and the user information from there directly. Basically, we'll be using SharePoint provider for authentication also. So let's have a look. So the prerequisites, you should have a focus Microsoft 3 developer account. We should have an IDE, Visual Studio Code or something else. We should have Nodejs installed, Git installation, and also SPFx development setup. If you don't know about SPFx development setup, you can read it from here. Basically, you need Node.js. We need 10.x version. The latest version will not work with SPFx. So just remember that. And we, of course, as I said, we need Visual Studio Code or some other code editor. We need Gulp, Yeoman. Yeoman is used. Yeoman generator is used to create the scaffolding of the solution we will use to build the app. And of course, a modern web browser. In this case, we'll be using Chromium Edge, which works pretty good. And also, we need to trust the self-signed developer certificate. If you don't know how to do this, there are very good explanation to do this on this page, and you can go do that. And that is used to work on the workbench we will have. Okay. So that is about the prerequisites. And when I'm talking about SharePoint, I'm only talking about SharePoint Online and not about SharePoint On-Prem like 2019 or 16. So let's get started. This is my development not server, but a Windows 10, and here we will be doing everything. Okay. So the first is that we will create a folder for ourselves. So I will say md SPFx mgtv2. Then we should be able to log into that. And then we will run the Yeoman generator to create the scaffolding. And this will ask you a lot of questions. So what is your solution name? And I would like to have the same name. So SPFx MGTV version 2. And I will go for SharePoint Online only. And it will say, yeah, use the current folder. And you'll say yes. Also say yes to this. And we will use web part name. So I will say SPFx MGTV2. What is a web product description? You can write something. I will leave it blank. And in this case, we are using no JavaScript framework. You can, of course, use other frameworks like React or something else. For simplicity, I'm using no JavaScript framework. For React, maybe I'll do another video, so you can check it later. So this will now start creating a scaffolding, as you can see. So we have to wait for it to be created. So let's wait for it. So once that is done, we will actually go through the code also. But before we look into the code, we have to do certain things. Like we have to install TypeScript 3.7 to the solution so that it doesn't give some kind of error messages, which I found out from a very good blog from Hugo Bernier. And we will also, we have to install the Microsoft GraphToolkit, which we haven't done yet, right? So if you create HTML-based applications which are outside of SharePoint framework, in that case, you have to get the script mgtloader.js in referenced in your HTML. But in this case, we will be, since we are using Nodejs, we will be putting a package called Microsoft MGT. So for that, and that will install the MGT package. Okay, so that is what we will do. So it has not finished yet. It takes a bit of time to do all the things. So till it is loading, I will I have already have created the app. So I will show you the demo first now, and then once it is loaded, we will go through the rest of the steps. Okay. So to let the so we can give a demo to you. So I will refresh this page, and I will make it bigger. So you can see this is the person. This is coming like an agenda. That's the calendar entries. This is a person I am showing. And this is the new person card you can see. And if I expand this, you will have, my email showing up, phone number, email address, emails here also, folders, the recent files I have selected, and also the other details about me or directory and everything. So that's the Graph Toolkit 2.0, right? And I have also added the task module, which has been also recently released. So that is also in the 2.0. And you can see that I already have a task, and I also can add new tasks. So you can see I have just added these components without any good HTML thing. But once you add it, you can use it pretty easily, as you can see in the demo. So let's look into. So it is still working. So let's start looking into the code. As I said, that you have to install the GraphToolkit also, but the code is pretty simple. So I will show that. I'll make it bigger also. So once everything is created, you will have the like this, and you have the main is the source folder, right? In this we have SPFx manage mgt web part.ds. What you can see from the code here, we have imported the SharePoint provider, which is important to, and this is why we don't need to add the JavaScript, basically because we are able to get the provider from SharePoint, which takes care of the authentication and everything. Okay. And here you can see we have also added a line here. SharePoint provided this dot context, basically the current context. And in the inner HTML, we are just loading mgt person, that is me, agenda, that is the calendar entry, people, then person card, and this is the latest person card from 2.0, and the MGT to do, which is the task to do list you are seeing. To get all this done, it is also important that we have added the reference. The reference is like this one. So we should have the solution name, of course, ID and everything. We should add this line is domain isolated is equal to false, and the resources which we need access to, because the graph works on the resource part. So basically that you need to request access to different graph components, and your admin, basically you need an Azure app to say that, yeah, you have these access already. So you can see I have given myself calendar read access, people read, user read all, group read dot all, task read write, and that's why I am able to use these in my code in the HTML. Okay, so let's have a look here, and now you can see this is created. So the next step for this is that we will install this one, and this is just needed to avoid messages for TypeScript 3.7 solution. So we will do this, and it will again start the installation. So let's wait for it. Till then, we can go back to our source code. So you can see this is how we do. Rest of the scaffolding will load everything on its own. You don't have to really change those things. Okay, and we once that is done, we also need to change the here. Just I will show you now. Package.json. Sorry, we have to change it to the tsconfig.json. And here, after this step is installed, as you say, 3.7, we will change this value to 3.7. Earlier, it will be 3.3 or the older, whatever older version you have. Okay, so that needs to be changed to 3.7. That's it. Nothing more, no more changes on this file. And then, as I said, we have to install the GraphToolkit, which we will do through npm install at the Microsoft MGT. And since we are going to use the latest version of Microsoft Graph, we are going to install using this also. So let's go back to our code. Yeah, so this is done, and then the next is that we will install npm install Microsoft MGT, and this will install the Microsoft Graph Toolkit. But there is a latest version, so I recommend that we use instead of this, you can actually use the command to install the latest one, which is so let it load, and so after that we can use npm I Microsoft/mgt at the rate next, and also Microsoft Graph Client at the rate latest. Just to be clear that when I did this, I faced some issues, and I had to run those commands, these two commands, which I can show you on your screen now, and which I took from the bug reports on the Graph Toolkit. So I had to run npm I Microsoft MGT at the next, and also npm I Microsoft Graph Client at the rate latest to get it working. Otherwise, it was not working for me actually, and I had to restart my browser, of course, to get it started. Once that is done, we are ready to go. So as I said, we will add the I have already shown you the graph provider here, right? I've already asked you to add the this SharePoint provider and also explained you about this and the source code here. Once that is done, um, we have to just, we have added all the agenda and the login components. And the next is that we will build the solution. To build the solution, we have to make sure that we have set the correct permissions and everything, as I explained in the package.json file. Sorry, not on this file, but this one. This is done. And once that is done, we will use bundle, build, gulp bundle, and gulp package solution. And then we have to install the. So if you have already done the steps, you will have under SharePoint solution, you will have the package file, which you need to install on your SharePoint admin as for SharePoint. Okay, so which I'll explain you. So I will go to SharePoint. More features, apps. App catalog. As for SharePoint. And we have to upload the package, this package. And I've already uploaded it, so I am not going to do it again. Once that is done, you will be able to, um, and then you have to run gulp serve to, and once you run the gulp serve like this, it will load and open the browser in the workbench. So I can show you again. So let's close this one. I'll put in a Nodejs. CD to the space where I need to be, like this, and gulp serve. And now I will add my web part which I have created, that is SPFx MGT, and you will see now. So you can see the person name, my calendar, the person card, latest one, and also the to-do task. If you want to create the package, you should use these commands, which I will explain now again to you, just to be clear. That is gulp build, and it will build the solution. You have to be in the folder where you have created everything. Done. You can ignore the error, that doesn't matter. Gulp bundle. And gulp package solution. And this will generate basically the package file which I showed you before, and I also explained you to upload it. So if you go to the folder, you will see under SharePoint solution and the package. Once it is installed, you should run gulp serve as I explained, and then it will open the workbench for you, and you just add the web part, and then you can see. And in the source code is pretty easy. You just add these web API permissions, and then we will also write in the code that you need these ones, you know, I add MGT person, which will load the person card, MGT agenda, which will load my calendar, people, person card, and the to do. So yeah, that's it for today. And have a nice rest of the week. And please subscribe to my channel, Sing Ventures, if you haven't yet. Okay. Thank you. Bye.